So I read 5 books in January, which is a lot, but January is like my Mondays. I have the most energy on Mondays, I get most work done. So I read quite a bit too. I hope I can keep this up. So I thought I'll make these videos more intermittently. So the fiction book I listened to the audiobook is called Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. So I picked it up from one of the must-read lists, which I'm a little skeptical about, but it turned out to be a very interesting read. It has hint of a surrealism, and it talks about very serious issues with a touch of humor and very everyday normalcy, which I really liked. I like this whole setting of small towns, people going about their lives, the sense of community. So it has a very actually a remarkably bright creature in it, and how like there are some themes or dialogues in it which I felt really related to. That one of the I think one of the characters says normalcy is for others, not for me, and a lot of these things. So I really found it very interesting and very touching. And the second book I read or listened to, the non-fiction one, the memoir, is called The Third Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. So I love Kelly Bishop as an actor. I don't really like Emily Gilmore much, but I know the complexity is what makes it more interesting. So, but the what I really liked about the book is like one to her, she's very sassy, very witty. So she talks about things with a touch of irreverence, which I really like. And like I learned a lot about 70s Broadway, the whole musical, the ballet dancing workshops and classes that she takes, all of them, and how she relates to her mother and her grandmother, and how that is related to the series Gilmore Girls. So it's all very beautifully written and well put together, I felt, and her own personal shortcomings, her how she endured so much suffering in her life, and about her relationships. All of it is very well written. There is no narcissism or any of show offiness. I did not find any of that in this. I love Gilmore Girls. I keep going back to it, and I really like that her take on the whole show and how she felt while doing it. All of it. So if you like memoirs or if you like listening to actors' lives and all of that, and just about Broadway and ballet, I got so hooked onto it. I started listening to jazz music and stuff. So which was a very interesting read. Coming to the books that I read. So this one is the Korean translated one. Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop by, it was translated by Shana Tan, and it's actually by Hwang Boreum, I think. So it is also it is supposed to be the runaway Korean sensation. I'm a little again hesitant about these books because some of which I really liked, some of which I did not like at all. But this I had heard quite a bit of good reviews, and it's quite well written. I'd say I really liked it. The thing what interested me was how it is very character driven. So I read the author's note also. She also talks about it. She kind of, as the story moves on, the more characters get added onto it, and they kind of take the story forward, which is not an easy thing to do at all while writing a book. But she has done it very skillfully. It's again about a very important theme of work-life balance. We keep talking about it, about burnout, and how much we let our dreams take over our lives, and where how do you define success, what do you think happiness is, when do you think you'll be happy, a lot of these questions, not very existential but somewhere along those lines. So and each character has his or her own way of looking at this particular issue, and how they have their own way of dealing with it also. They all take different routes, and all of them somehow end up happy. So it's a very interesting read if you're looking for a good Korean book. So you can pick this up definitely. So the other book is this Selected Satire, 50 Years of Ignorance by Shrilal Shukla. So he's a Hindi writer. So it is a collection of his essays, which is again translated. And I had actually bought this book back in I think 2021. I never got around to reading much of them, but the essays I found very straightforward, sometimes blunt, but very interesting. So there is this Kannada author also whose essays I liked, Aram Mitra. So I found a very I found many similarities between their writing about looking at the world in very different eyes, like about politics, about how people are, what people talk about. Mainly, most of the essays are about politics, about the 60s, 70s, and even 90s era. So I think it was very interesting. Though somewhere I found them a little tedious because they tend to get a little, because there is no dialogue, there is not a lot of characters. It's just your view of the world. So to but he has tried very hard to keep the interest going, I would say. So because I finished the book. So the if you want to read a very good collection of essays, and if you want to read about India back in the 80s 90s era, you can pick it up. It's quite nice. So the last book this is this graphic novel. It's called The Sad Ghost Club. It is for mainly adolescents and teenagers. It's by Lize Meddings. So it is, I really liked it. It is so wholesome, very endearing. It talks about anxiety in ways, I think for somebody who has gone through it or who knows about it, it's very relatable. I think one of the most important books that I've read, because it's a graphic novel. I could like finish it in like an hour. So, but it's very nice. So one of the quotes that I really liked, I've even bookmarked it. So it's we are literally just a collection of atoms that used to be stars bubbling around, and in like 100 years we won't even exist, and nothing we did or felt will matter at all that much anyway. So it's very it's a very different approach of talking about these mental health issues in a non-stigmatizing way, in a neutral way, in a non-judgmental way. So it's an important book. I got to know that there are more in this series. So I'm going to pick up more of them, and I'll give them a read. So that's about the books that I read in January.